So as you could see, the competition has changed over the years, including the name. It used to be called the Business Plan Competition, but now it's the UH Venture Competition. But a couple of things have stayed the same. And to me, that's the incredible students that bring their drive, creativity, innovation, and wonderful, dedicated, persevering mindsets to the competition year in and year out. And I'm happy to see a number of our alum and past winners in our audience. Of course, you folks just met Shanoa and Donovan, but we have a number of other alum here joining us today. So thank you and welcome to all of them. And the other thing that's remained a constant is our amazing community of donors and volunteers. We could not do this competition without all of you. So the ASVs, the AGIs, the Hawaiian Electrics, Tia Arma, Greg, Hy-Vee, like all of you make this work. And the competition is supported by nearly 70 volunteers every year. So as you can tell, we don't do it on our own. It's the entire community that comes in and makes it happen. So thank you to our amazing community for making this competition so amazing and supporting so many students on their journeys as they bring their ideas to life. So now on to the competition. I do not know how to fix this, so hopefully my team can help me. If not, it's okay, I will just move on. Okay, so we'll move on. That was just the introductory video. As you could see, we had a number of wonderful competitors from diverse backgrounds, so that's what we're always looking for here at PACE, is how do we get a diverse set of teams and students who participate in what we do. So very lucky to have that happened. Let's see if I can move to the next slide. Okay, perfect. So to celebrate this 25th anniversary of the UH Venture Competition, we doubled the cash prizes this year. So the first place winner is taking home $25,000 in cash. So first, we really want to thank American Savings Bank. They are our title sponsor for this year, and they are sponsoring that first place cash prize. So your continued partnership and engagement make this semester-long program possible. So thank you, ASB and Tony, who's here with us today. Also, generous thanks goes to Hy-Vee and Sharon Weiner. So they're the two folks that are giving us our second place and third place cash prizes. And then those prizes are surrounded by a number of in-kind support prizes from Blue Logic Labs, Help Co-working Hawaii, Pineapple Tweed, and Vantage Council. So really giving all the support services that entrepreneurs need to get their idea off the ground. Okay, now on to the agenda for today's event. So first, I'm going to briefly introduce the judges, but you can read more about them in the program. Then the teams are going to present. Each team will present for 10 minutes, and then there will be 10 minutes of Q&A. The judges, after all of them present, the judges will move into a separate room to deliberate, and everyone else gets to relax and mingle and eat some food. Then we will reconvene back here at 6:30 in order to award That might get pushed back a little bit because I know we started a little bit late, so we'll keep you posted. Okay, so now let's quickly meet our panel of judges. So the judges have already read the competitors' business plans, so they've taken that into consideration, and they're the ones who are going to be making the tough decision today. So first up is Shadman Farnsworth, and as you saw in the video, she was the winner of our very first business plan competition, and she's still inspiring folks to innovate and bring their ideas to life with food startups. And she also leads East Meets West, which is a huge convener of hundreds and hundreds of people from the East to the West, and she does that every year to build our ecosystem. So welcome, Shadman. So next up is Jannatun. We couldn't leave him out, and so you saw him in the video as well. He had a lot more description in his video, so I'm not going to go into it, but you saw, right? Doing amazing things, did his own startup, started a nonprofit to help inspire and grow the next generation, and also now leading his own venture fund. So welcome, Donovan. Thank you for being here. And then we have Tony Mizuno. So he's the EVP of Commercial Markets at ASB. This is his second time volunteering for us at the venture competition, being a finals judge. And what I learned today is that we're somehow connected, because earlier when I said that entrepreneurship is the lifeblood of a thriving economy, I kid you not, he said the same thing to me when I did the judges briefing with him in the door behind us. And I was like, no way, dude, you read my script. How did you just say the same thing? Chanel was there, so she's my witness. I'm not lying. But so we're somehow connected. So I know that Tony's going to pick the right winners. So welcome, Tony. Okay. So before I turn the floor over to our first team, I have a couple of housekeeping announcements. So the restrooms, if anyone needs to go to the restroom, is located outside to the left of the ballroom. And then if everyone could please take a moment to silence their ringing devices, that would be great. Please try not to disrupt any of the presenters while they're up here presenting. And we please ask you to refrain from interacting with any of the presenters or judges during the presentations. Oh, look, see, I see everyone with their phones out. Great. Okay, let's get started. Our first competitor is BlueMed.
Hello everyone, our team is BlueMed, and we have empowered aquaculture farmers with AI-based diagnosis. Our team includes me, Loc, the CEO, PhD student in IT management, and we are doing research about AI. So I came from a farmer family, and I grew up seeing farmers have the challenge with their farm. So Au is a chief scientist, PhD student in microbiology, and she doing research about aquaculture disease. Our advisor is Dr. Igor Molibok. He is the advisor, and he's the professor and the author of the AI model Llama 3.
So long time ago, I talked to one of my neighbors, Mr. Nam Nguyen, who owns a family farm, and he told me that farming is like gambling, and he has experienced a huge loss in farming. And Mr. Nam is like a typical Vietnamese farmer who started business with little understanding about aquaculture farming, so he has spent a lot of money on food and medicine. And in Vietnam, there are 500,000 small farms, just like Mr. Nam, and they all having the same problem. And soon we found out that's because of diseases. And not only in Vietnam, but also in other Asian countries, diseases is a big problem. Asia has contributed over 80% to the global aquaculture production. However, every time when there's a disease occurring, there's a significant decline in the production growth rate that you can see there. And according to World Bank, diseases cost $6 billion losses annually worldwide. And as our research, there are 15 million small farms in the world, and we aim to get $500 from each farm, making the TAM of 7.5 million. And we will only focus on Southeast Asia, which is $3 million, and 5% of which is 150 million, comes from Vietnam. And next step, we did a lot of interviews with our potential customers, and we learned that despite the severity of diseases, the current diagnostic methods are not effective, and usually it takes very long time or either less accurate. And on top of that, food and medicine are expensive, which makes it less affordable to most of our farmers. And so they need something handy that can give them immediate but accurate diagnosis, also can help them reduce costs on food and medicine. And we also talked to the government, and we learned that diseases is the biggest problem in aquaculture industry, and if we come up with an effective solution, they will support and promote it.
So in general, there are three problems that the farmers have. The diagnosis is too long, 2 or 4 days. It would be too late for the farmers to prevent the spread of the disease on the farm. Secondly, the diagnosis has very low accuracy rate of only 50%. So as you can see here, the farmer is very sad because of the unreliable diagnosis. Moreover, the food and medicine is very expensive. That's why even like harvesting the fish, you see that the farmer, they do not look happy because they have very low profit. So that's why we came up with BlueMed, which is the mobile app that we built to help the farmer to get diagnosis. We build BlueMed with the mobile app that the farmers can diagnose the disease as well as to order the food and medicine with affordable price. So the farmers can click on marketplace to buy the food and medicine, or they can click on diagnosis to diagnose disease. So here, the farmer can upload an image of the stream and describe the symptom. And as you can see here, the AI will look at the pattern of the image as well as the symptom and let people know about the name of the disease and how to treat the disease, as well as like what kind of medicine to be used. As you can see here, this is the white spot disease, and here the medicine to be used and the frequency to use it. And it also asks the farmer if they would like to order the medicine. If the farmer answers yes, then the medicine will be delivered to their farm. It can also diagnose disease with the fish. So here the farmers will describe the symptom. And the same here, the AI will look at the image as well as the symptom, analyze it, and let the farmers know about the name of the medicine, as well as, the name of the disease here is columnaris, and you can see that the medicine to be used and the frequency to use it. And it also asks the farmer if they would like to order the medicine. So the farmer can talk. Yes, I would like to order the medicine. And here the order will be delivered within 24 hours. So as you can see here, our BlueMed app is a fast and handy tool that designed for the smallholder farmer. It provides real-time diagnosis, which is affordable for the farmer, and it also supports the low bandwidth. It has the provisional patent. We have very high accuracy rate, 90%, in comparison with only 50% with the current diagnosis. And it can also diagnose the new disease because of climate change. Moreover, its advice is tailored for the farm characteristics. We have the group buying marketplace in which that the farmer can order food and medicine with affordable price and deliver within 24 hours. So our app can help to reduce 40% of the economic losses caused by disease. It's around like $2.4 billion annually. And we talked with the Vietnam government. They really like the app and they would like to provide this app for the farmer in Vietnam. So as you can see here, this is our meeting between us and the Vietnam ambassador. We also talk with the local government in 2 provinces in Vietnam, and they also would like to promote our service to the farmers in their region. We have partnership with 2 universities in Vietnam, Cần Thơ University and Shadman University, and they would like to collaborate with us to support the farmers. We have partnership with 2 top agriculture suppliers to deliver the food and medicine to the farmers. And we let 20 people try using our app, and they really like 95% of them really like it and would like to use it in the future. So our business model includes licensing our app to the government so the farmer can use it for free. So we get $400,000 annually from the government and 7% of the success fee. We also license our app to the university and the Web Center for $5,000 to $25,000 each. So the student, professor, researcher, and the batch can use it. And we get nominal fee of 3% to 5% from the supplier when the food and medicine are ordered on our platform. And we also let people to run advertisement. So this combined together with the revenue stream of our app. And with the government, when they pay for us $400,000 per year, it means that they only spend $15 per year per farmer. And it will help the farmer to reduce the mortality rate of the farm during the disease outbreak from 100% to only 30% here. And as a result, we can help increase the profit of the farmer from negative 32,000 to positive $20,000 per year. And as you can see here, although there are some companies that provide the diagnosis service, however, most of them are not built to support the smallholder farmer. And they do not support the low bandwidth because you see most of the farmers in developing countries, they live in the countryside with very slow internet connection, so they cannot use AI. So, but we have the algorithm and the technique to help them with that. And we also diagnose the disease, the new disease, because climate change. So we have the intellectual property to protect our business from competition. As you can see here, we get this from USPTO, and we make the cloud AI accessible for the slow and unstable connect. And moreover, we use multi-agent LLM to diagnose the new disease. So our competitive advantage includes the handy and fast tool with high accuracy. We can diagnose the new disease, and we have fair price for group buying. We have a strong connection with Vietnam and built for Vietnam. And we have the intellectual property and the trade secret to protect us from the competition. So as you can see here, Mr. Phương Nguyen, who is the vet, he used BlueMed app, and he said that BlueMed app is a game changer. It brings fast, highly accurate diagnosis, and it's very helpful and absolutely necessary for improving the animal health as well as the livelihood of the farmers. So this is our plan for 6 months after competition. We build our MVP, do the pilot testing, branding, marketing, and continue with the development. We also contact the government to sign a contract with them and apply for the grant. So here are also our financial forecast. In the first year, we have a bit negative profit because we do not have a lot of customers in the first year. From the second year, we are break even, and from the third year, we got positive profit. And in the fifth year, we will get the profit of about $10 million. Here are the progress that we make up to now. Thank you very much for supporting us.
All right. Thank you. Hello. So you mentioned these partnerships in the presentation. There were several, like university and et cetera, and I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about some of the details there, exactly what those partnerships entail.
Yes, so for example, we partnership with 2 universities. They are the Cantor University and Jannatun University. So in Vietnam, the university, they have the program to support the farmer in their regions. So usually they do research, they have the program that can help the farmer with the new technique, help them to diagnose disease. And when we contact with them, they are really interested in something like that because they say that, oh, it would be very convenient for the farmers. So we collaborate with them to support the farmers in their region. Moreover, the students, they would like to learn more about disease, and this app would be very helpful for them. Moreover, we had a partnership with 2 top agriculture suppliers because on our app, the farmer can order food and medicine with affordable price. So we make a partnership with them so we can get discount from the supplier. So for example, in aquaculture, usually from the supplier, from the wholesaler to the retailer, the price of food and medicine increase a lot. But when we buy directly from them, they can make a discount from us so the farmer can get food and medicine with lower price.
Thank you. I had a couple of questions. First, the revenue model I wanted to clarify. Is it farmers are going to pay $500 per farm, or is the government going to pay 400,000, subsidize it, or is it some combination?
No, actually, like we license it to the government, so the farmer can use it for free.
Free. Okay. And then from a distribution standpoint, given the sheer number of farmers there are, how do you get your app to be used by millions of farmers?
So, for example, in Vietnam and other developing countries in Asia, they have the aquaculture support program in which that they have the training courses for the farmers. So the farmers go there and the government like set up organize courses to train the farmers. So we plan to participate in this program. So we can reach like thousands of farmers per class. So we introduce our app in that. So the farmer will believe us because we came from the introduction of the government. And like for each class, we can reach thousands of farmers. So we attend many classes over the year. Yeah, that's the way that we can reach them.
Good presentation, thank you. How did you come up with that 400,000? Did you benchmark it against other contracts that the government did? Did you talk to them about that? How did you get to that number?
Actually, we already talked with the Vietnam government, but we have not come to the final agreement yet. But $400,000 is our estimation about like the number that they may be willing to pay us to let the farmers to use it. Yeah. So we talked with the Vietnam ambassador and he's really interested in that. He said, oh, it's a big problem for aquaculture. And I really want to use it to like more farmers to use it. And he introduced us to the agriculture department in the Vietnam government. Yeah.
And then on the funding slide, so you only say 25,000 to get to $10 million in profit in 3 years, but like are there additional funding that you're anticipating?
It's our plan if we can win the first prize in this competition. So it's now we could use $25,000 in the next 6 months.
Next 6 months, okay. And
Yes.
the next 6 months gets you product out in market.
Yes, we have that so we will do the pilot test to let the farmer to use for free in the first 3 months to get a feedback and to see like what we need to build to continue to develop it. And then we will make the negotiation with the government so they can pay us.
Okay, last question, sorry. 5% didn't like it. What did they not like about it?
5% when we let 20 people use it and 5% they're not really familiar with using smartphone. Right? So you see that like we need to use smartphone, but some people they say that oh I never use smartphone in my life. Right? So they use Nokia brick.
That kind of brings me to my next question, which is around the IP. When you put that on the screen, but it was very quick. It looked like this is related to actually the unstable internet issues as opposed to the actual crux of how you're using the IP. So can you tell us more about the IP? And these are, I'm assuming, just at this point, applications it looks like. You haven't kind of gotten any feedback back from the PKO office yet?
Yes, yeah. So as you can see here, the first one is making the cloud AI accessible over the slow and unstable internet connection. So you see that like nowadays we have a lot of AI, but most of the AI require very strong internet connection to work. However, in Asia, in developing countries, most farmers in the countryside, they do not have strong internet connection. They have only 2G. They do not have 3G connection. So if we only bring a technology here in US to the Asian countries, the farmer cannot use it. That's why WhatsApp is not popular in Vietnam. Right? That's why we use this out technology to allow the AI to work in the 2G connection. Right? Yeah. So that's our approach. Because like in US, when people develop a new technology, they think about like people in US, but they do not think about people in Asian and developing countries. So those are like the marginal people, and we care about them. So we develop it for them to help them with their situation. So yeah, you're right that we have not got the feedback from USPTO yet. Yeah, but we hope that we can get their approval soon.
that that's today. That was quick work. I mean.
Actually, because the fee to apply for the grant is so much, yeah. So we consider a lot of the things that okay, we should apply for that. Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more about your background. So, studying AI, or maybe go back to the slides and background.
So I am a PhD student in information technology management, and my dissertation is about artificial intelligence, using artificial intelligence. And my teammate is a PhD student in microbiology, and she's working on disease, how to identify disease, how to treat the disease. So we combine together like one technology, one microbiology, work together. And our advisor, he's the professor at the university, and he's the author of the Llama 3 model, which is very famous AI model.
Yes, on that topic, and so which models are you using? And I'm assuming for the system, you set up a RAG, put in a bunch of different white papers, and that's how you're diagnosing.
Actually, of course, we use RAG to get reference from the disease that were published on the website of the government, like American government, Australian government, Vietnam government, Indian government, and moreover, we use the second one of our pattern is about using multi-agent LLM. So we let the LLM to discuss with each other to come to the final decision about what kind of disease and how to treat the disease. So as you know, we have multiple AI now, but each AI has the advantage and disadvantage. But if we can get them together to discuss with each other, like in the hospital when we come there, and a group of doctors that discuss with each other about the symptom and the image, and come to the final decision, it would be very accurate. Yeah, so it's our approach to increase accuracy rate. And currently we get accuracy rate more than 90%.
WellNETS, and it was coached by Christopher Daniel of Daniel Consulting Corporation. So welcome, WellNETS.
Hello everyone. Today we will be presenting WellNETS, an elderly fall monitoring solution that is completely contactless and automatic. But before we delve into the details, let us go through a comic conversation between a grandmother and her grandson.
Grandma, you fell again. Let me buy you a ceiling camera for 24/7 safety.
I do not want Big Brother to watch over me all the time.
What about a fall alert wristband?
You already gave me two, and I lost them both in the abyss of my sofa along with TV remote.
What about a push button necklace?
Well, I cannot press it if I'm unconscious unless I face plant directly onto the button.
It seems like there's a problem to every solution.
Exactly. We need a solution that does not require me to wear it or does not require any manual activation, and most importantly, does not compromise the privacy and independence.
Introducing WellNETS, our radar-based fall monitoring solution. It's contactless, it works automatically, and it ensures the privacy and independence of your loved ones.
So WellNETS is a radar-based fall monitoring solution that works contactlessly and can be mounted anywhere in the room, from where it can monitor and detect any fall event. And in case of a fall event, it will automatically alert the caregiver that a fall has happened. And the caregiver in turn can assess the situation by looking at the current vitals from the companion app that comes with it, and get an immediate understanding of the situation. So to understand the magic behind how WellNETS work, let us go through the example of speed gun that police use to measure the speed of your car, or to basically understand if you're getting ticketed or not. So this speed guns contains radar that sends signal to the car, and then this signal hits the car and gets reflected back. And since the car is moving, the signal that gets reflected back is different from the signal that was originally sent. So we can use this difference to measure the speed of the car. Now, we use this same technology that track the car's speed, and we use it to track something much more valuable to us, which is the health of our loved ones. So for WellNETS, we use a radar that sends signal to our body, and when we breathe, when our heart beats, or when we move, there are small or big motions that are created that change the reflected signal. And this change, so we use this signal that is reflected and use our proprietary algorithm that we developed for WellNETS to measure heart rates, to measure breathing signal, and to measure the motion. And using all of this information, we monitor if the person has fall down, or if there is and alert the person in case there is a fall. So to summarize, WellNETS is not just a reactive solution, meaning it does not require you to press a button when you fell down. So it can measure remotely and contactlessly from anywhere of the room your breathing signals, heart signals, and gait signals. So you sitting remotely can understand if your parents or your grandparents are having any breathing issues, heart problems, or any motion problems. Since it uses radar to do the contactless monitoring, it is completely privacy protected since it does not use any kind of camera or microphone. It is very easy to install since it comes as a box and you can install it anywhere in your room of your convenience under 10 minutes. And we have, well, this is a reliable technology that, that is based on the 17 research publications that both of us produced throughout our doctoral research so far. And to protect our intellectual property, we have filed 2 provisional patents. And compared to the current solutions, current solutions for fall monitoring, which either requires you to manually push a button, wear it all the time, or use a camera or microphone, WellNETS does not require any of this. It can contactlessly and proactively monitor fall. That includes activity monitoring, health monitoring, and since it uses radar, it is completely privacy protected. And it gives this comprehensive list of advantages just at $365 per year, which is $1 a day to ensure the safety of your loved ones. So living 8,000 miles away from where I originally came from, I often talk with them on video calls, and I feel that they are not doing well, and I have to worry, but all I have to do is just rely on their word of mouth. So having such a system in the environment can actually enable me to have my peace of mind based on data-driven insights rather than just the intuition. So in our advanced plan, WellNETS enables the user to have data-driven health insights over time where the caregiver, you, or your parents can know if they're doing okay from the data, or if there are health conditions that requires attention, or if they have fallen down. And this comes at $180 additional cost per year. So the elderly population is increasing globally, and fall is a major risk among this growing vulnerable population. So I personally remember my grandmother fell down when I was younger, and she had to be admitted in the hospital for more than 2 weeks. And that event not only costed us emotionally, and it was a very heavily financial cost on us as well. And in a report in the US, it was shown that each of these falls can cost a person more than $50,000 per year, which can of course increase depending on the condition or underlying situation of the person. So elderly monitoring market is also increasing rapidly with a CAGR of 11.3%, and our primary target are the 15 million seniors who are living alone or independently, and considering 5% market capture there, we have 750,000 people. Considering 5% market capture in our secondary target, we have about 65,000 people. So we have our initial prototype ready on which we are doing our lab testing on. So we produced this initial prototype with the help of funding from my Patents to Product Fellowship at the Office of Innovation and Commercialization. We will look forward to doing our field testing and refining the product design in the next 4 to 6 months. And by the next 7 to 12 months later, we plan to do our official launch of our MVP based on the Kickstarter funds. So in the meantime, for the 4 to 6 months, if we are granted this 25,000 funding, we will use it towards building our MVP.
We project our production COGS to be about $100 and the cloud maintenance to be about $50 per year. We'll use the marketing channel of online advertising, and we project our customer acquisition cost to be about $50. Through market survey, we have determined our target market to be the caregivers of the elderly, because they are the ones most likely to buy these devices and install them in the home of their loved ones. We also want to partner with retirement homes and assisted living facilities because they want to relieve some burden off of their overworked caregiver staff. For right now, we want to focus on direct sales of elderly monitoring devices. But since radar monitoring is an emerging market, we'd also like to then explore devices for sleep apnea alarm, correctional facilities, inmate monitoring, and baby monitoring. Our exit strategy is to sell the company to a large medtech company. For sustainability, we are looking at biodegradable material for the enclosure. Also, we want to get our device certified for the American and European markets. And since the device is leased, whenever a user doesn't need it anymore or unsubscribes, we can recover it and then redeploy it, thereby reducing electronic waste. Leading our team is Jannatun Noor Sameera, said to be the founder and president of Ola Sensors. WellNETS will be the first device. I'll be the VP of engineering. Advising us is Dr. Olga Boric-Lubecke with her experience in startups, and coaching us is Christopher Daniel with his expensive experience in business development. Thousands of elderly people die every year in their own home due to lack of timely intervention from a caregiver. One of the recent victims of this effect is Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa. Betsy Arakawa, who was born and brought up in Hawaii, died in her own home on February 12th this year. Gene Hackman died 6 days later as he was totally dependent on her for his health and medication. We believe that having a monitoring solution in their home could have averted this tragedy and saved their lives through timely intervention. Therefore, we would like to invite you all to help us save lives by developing smarter tech for safer aging, because peace of mind shouldn't be optional. Thank you.
All right, thank you. How far along is this technology development? I mean, obviously the radar technology exists, and AdnoViv, we've seen a lot around for many years, so we know that technology is working, but how far along are you in terms of developing an app here that is, you know, the companion to this technology and testing it in a real life situation?
So the technology, we have the sensor prototype ready, and we also made the app, but we didn't test the app yet. So that is something we are also working on, and I believe that will be, since we do have the prototype ready and the sensor unit ready, that will be easier to work on.
Just a question on that, does it require an line of sight or it does not?
It does not require line of sight. You do not have to be straight on there, but it does have a certain coverage. Like one device can cover one whole room without obstruction, like a thick wall or something.
It will go through furniture, but it won't go through walls. So we mount it really high so that the dead zones behind furniture are not a problem.
Will pets confuse it?
Pets have a lower signature than humans, and those can be easily distinguished.
Thank you.
Sorry, along the same lines, like if I'm elderly, and maybe I live in a 2,500 square foot, 4-bedroom house, do I need to have like 5 or 6 devices to have coverage?
This is a very good question. So yes, it needs one device per room, but the dimensions of the room is not a factor. Because from our testing, it could cover 100 foot by 100 foot square foot room. It's the walls that are enclosing the radar.
And then if, in my case, is my subscription fee the same as anyone, like, do you pay more if you have more rooms and more devices, or is it $1 per?
First, we plan the first 2 devices to be $1 per device, but then the next ones get a discount. And by the 5th or 6th device, it's basically free.
And distribution and receipt back, how do you envision that working if you distributed thousands of these and then as people no longer need them, how do they? You need them back, right?
Yes, we want to partner through UPS, just generate a QR code, much like Amazon does now, and then mail it back to us.
Can you talk a little bit more about the discovery process of the iCourses? I couldn't have that, but so what you talk to, folks talk to during that process?
Okay, I think slide is a little bit farther, so I will talk to you.
During the discovery process, we talked to the nurses. I was able to talk to caregivers, the elderly people themselves, and I also was able to talk to nurses who work at correctional facilities. So that is where we understood that there is a huge market of such monitoring sensors in correctional facilities, and they are actively looking for solutions that can help them.
And like, what is the complaint with all of those solutions? Obviously, it's not maybe solving the problem.
So if I talk about the correctional facilities, because it's the same with other applications, other cases as well. So in correctional facilities, they monitor the inmates very closely. So they use like bed alarms, then some wearables. But the problem is, which is common in other cases as well, they remove those sensors consciously or unconsciously, and that actually in a correctional facilities can be a huge concern. Because that will also include lots of research management there, because if the alarm is triggered for no reason, a nurse has to go there and check again, and nurses are very, very overworked, so those are very highly voiced problem. And another issue is there is one hospital in Philadelphia, because these wearable sensors are getting so much problematic, so they use camera to monitor the person. Some people, I think it's a hospital in Philadelphia, and they say that this camera, the inmates were heavily dissatisfied with having camera because it's a very big privacy issue. I also spoke to one person who has their mother. They install cameras all over their house, and their mother scolds them all the day to have to remove those cameras because it is a huge burden on their independence.
I'm also curious about the other uses for this. So, and why you chose this market to go after, I guess, first, and ultimately falls. And I think you had a couple of other use cases there, but I'm wondering, would it also work in the case of seizures?
So, if we're talking about like seizures in hospitals, so we also explored the environment for, so we talked to nurses for hospitals. It is, the protocol is very high, but if you're like in a home and you want, expect that the device can measure the seizure, I think so it can, because it will be picking up your heart rate, your breathing rate, and when you are having any critical point like that, it will definitely be spiked, so it will be able to alert. But that actually comes in the advanced monitoring, where it actually alerts over the time how it's changing.
If I may add to that, also when we're partnering with hospitals, we have to be, since these will go under a hospital database, EHR, so we have to be HIPAA compliant. Right now we are aiming for class 1 exempt class, so that with the limited funds that we have now, we can develop the product, and then when we have more funds, we'll work on a 501K, and then go for sleep apnea alarm baby monitoring in hospitals.
Can you talk a little bit more about the box? So obviously this is great, but like what other things is it connected to a local computer and some of the type and machine learning algorithms that you guys have developed?
I do have a prototype inside the box, but I can pull it up. This is actually the first prototype that we built on, and now it's a little bit much more miniaturized to fit in the box. So we do have like the ABC, and we do have a microcontroller, small one that will fit inside, a radar module, and then some wires that are much more smaller than this to fit in the box. So this is pretty much it, and then we put our algorithms, which are also something that we worked over time during our doctoral research, and so we put the algorithm inside the microcontroller.
So WellNETS by all assessors. So is it WellNETS? Is it all assessors?
Essentially, the product name is WellNETS, and if we found a company, it will be all assessors to commercialize WellNETs.
Maybe licensing, like you guys have background into. What does ABD mean?
Oh, ABD is all but dissertation.
Everyone else is good, right?
Grow Guam, and they were coached by Kelly Holden of the Shiger College of Business.
Okay.
So welcome to the stage, Grow Guam.
Buenas and Hafide, I'm Kristen.
I'm Aljon.
And I'm Kyla. And we are Grow Guam. So imagine yourself walking through the streets of Guam carrying a piece of the island with you. Its beauty, its history, and its cultura, or culture, all woven into what you wear. That is the heart of Grow Guam, a modern cultural lifestyle brand that transforms Guam's traditions into modern everyday apparel and accessories. Our brand is more than just about fashion. We are a movement to spreading cultural awareness and pride for Guam's culture. So Guam is rich in culture, yet the market often has mass production of generic island designs that fail to capture the true essence of what Guam is like. And so we were actually inspired by local businesses here on Oahu that do a really good job at representing Hawaii's culture. And then that made us think, what were we missing back home? And it was the need to highlight minority voices, and Grow Guam is here to fill that gap.
Through market research and interviews with potential customers on Guam, we found that similar to Hawaii, there is a demand for culturally inspired fashion, and Grow Guam bridges this gap by using traditional native motifs such as the gausali flower here, making sustainable apparel and accessories, creating wearable culture. We call for everyone to stand together with Guam, or as we say in Chamorro, Whanoki Chamorro.
So the Chamorros are the local people of Guam, and we want to embrace their tradition and protect Guam, or Protehi Guahan.
As I said, the demand for culturally inspired fashion is growing. Our target market will primarily be young women on Guam, ages 15 to 30. And we will also target tourists to Guam, so that is people from China, Japan, the Philippines, and Korea, which adds up to over 700,000 visitors annually. And of course, the local Chamorro community, as well as those who have moved away from home. So that would include college students, military, those who have moved away and want a piece of home with them.
Okay, so Kristen was actually able to seek out real community feedback from the people in Guam. They loved our idea and they even offered to support it. She was also able to get the president of Guam's Chamber of Commerce to help and support our idea as well, and she cannot wait to promote it. She did mention that small businesses in Guam are a tight-knit community, and we never want to step any boundaries. We just want to respect and commend them. So we see this more as a future collaboration and more of a community building with not only the island but the culture as well.
With more market research, we found that tourists on Guam spend about $1,600 on a 3 to 4 day trip on supporting local, produce, and more. We also had conversations with small local businesses on Guam. A girl owns So Local, and she's very familiar with the market in Hawaii and on Guam. And she did say that small businesses here often price to what their products are worth, whereas on Guam we kind of have to accommodate to what people are willing to pay for. So with that, our pricing strategy will align with Guam's market. And to kick off our fashion show, we have products featuring locals from Guam. So here we have Larissa, ready to hit Marito Pier in our Gausali hair clip and our Gausali pareo. So wearing these pieces would signify her connection to the land of Guahan. Next, we have Jayana, who is ready to run some errands in our pottery design t-shirt, connecting her to the ancient Chamorros on Guam and their lifestyle. She's also wearing a tote bag that says Itano Ananai, which means the island provides. And that is actually the traditional home of the Chamorros back then. And we have the latte stones holding them together as the core and foundation, as we see on the screen here. We also have another shirt that has the latte stone as so, and it says Protegi Guahan, which means to protect Guam, and wearing this shirt basically symbolizes strength and connection to your roots. And we are also wearing our own products featuring the Gausali flower. So, yeah. And in terms of our distribution channels, we are going to go through e-commerce and pop-ups in Guam. So firstly, our website will be the main platform for our customers, and the pop-ups will be held in the heart of Guahan in Hagatnya, where we have Guam's very own Chamorro village, where you all get to immerse yourself in Chamorro culture. We also will be doing marketing strategies through Instagram and TikTok, and I will be creating the content using guerrilla marketing tactics. Also, as Guam's first D1 beach volleyball athlete, I am able to leverage my NIL and also leverage my networks with other collegiate athletes, as they're all willing to support.
Okay, so our finances are different from what we originally submitted. This time it's more detailed and more like financially realistic. So our total inventory investment is going to be about $30,500, and the shipping is going to be $750. This brings our break even to $130,000. Our rent is going to be approximately $70 a month, and we have strong, steady sales from 25 units per production in month 1 to 1,000 in month 12. Revenue is about $3,400 and grows to $184,500 by month 12. Our expenses cover COGS, labor at 10% of revenue, fixed costs, and marketing. But here is the exciting part. We expect a small loss at start, but break even at year 1, even after paying ourselves a salary that includes our annual 10% raise. By the end of this first year, we are making a net profit of just under $4K. From there, the business scales quickly, hitting over $30K in profit in year 1, growing to $160K in year 5. This shows we're not just building a business, we are also building a profitable, sustainable brand with real growth potential.
I-Aire Ihanom Zanitano Chamorro means to protect and defend the air, water, and land of the Chamorro people.
At Grow Guam, sustainability is the core of our mission. Our production will include sourcing materials from manufacturers in the United States. That would be sustainably made t-shirts, pareos, and tote bags. Then we will take them back to Guam and screen them, print them all locally there. We spoke to the small business owner of So Local Hawaii. She told us that the turnaround time for screen printing usually is really quick, averaging about 1 to 3 weeks. Our packaging is also recyclable, and we will include QR codes that have native Chamorro heritage stories linked to them. And as we promote local artisans and small businesses, we reduce admission and support fair wages.
Okay, so we are ready to take Grow Guam to the next level. In the first 6 to 8 months, we will solidify small local business relationships, we'll enhance our product designs and manufacturing processes. In the next 6 to 8 months, we will establish our brand through events and collaborations, and our online store. By the end of this presence, Grow Guam will have a strong presence locally and online.
Okay, so to top this all off, our brand is more than just about selling fashion. We are a movement to spreading cultural awareness to the people of Guam to locals, tourists, and people around the world, bringing everyone closer to the heart of Guam. So let's grow Guam together. Biba Guahan and Sisiwas Masi.
Have a day. Thank you. That was a cool presentation. I don't think I've ever seen a fashion show as part of a pitch. Good for you guys. Impressive financials, but can you tell me what your IRR is in year 5? Never mind, this is true. Yeah, you did good. But maybe just talk about the market research, because your students here, and I kind of find it hard to believe that there's not homegrown Guam products, because like here you kind of go to a craft fair and not get somebody making Hawaii designs.
Yes. Okay, so let me go back to the slide. Basically, yes, there are local products on Guam where you get to kind of embrace the culture, but they don't really sell designs that kind of are more modernized. We have brands like Opaque Guam where they're more masculine and don't have a lot of femininity in them, so we have that provided here through our pareos. We also kind of want to reach to the locals who want to express themselves through a more modernized way. That's why we have, instead of the actual laddystone, we have the hand figures as a laddystone. And yeah, we were inspired by the small local businesses here because I often go to the farmers markets and I always see so many different options, but on Guam it's just like almost kind of the same things and nothing really pops out for other people.
So, similar question, I guess, about market size. I mean, you quantified that a little bit. I heard some numbers in there, like 700,000 visitors. I actually don't know the population of Guam. That would be an important bit of information. But so how have you quantified the demand here to kind of justify these projections on financials, that you would be able to sell that much, that it would make sense for you to manufacture that much? In other words, that you know that the market is and the demand is big enough for this?
Yes, so we actually did some research as we noticed the shift in what people are wanting. Like, we also did some interviews with a lot of customers on Guam where I kind of provided what we were trying to sell and given them the feedback of other local businesses here where they also basically show their products as well. And so they were like, oh, this would be nice to have and represent, you know. And in terms of market research, we did notice that people here in Oahu do a good job at representing their culture in terms of fashion and small businesses. And we've seen that shift on Guam as more small businesses are kind of occurring, and we see a lot of them growing but not essentially capturing that presence in the market.
So, real quick follow-up. So how did you then quantify that demand? I mean, what you're talking about there is kind of qualitative data, right? Like, people like this. Okay, that's one point of information, but the other point of information is about how much people are actually going to be willing to buy. And so I'm wondering how you came up with those numbers.
You should talk about the tourism. So we had more market research, as I said, with the tourists that usually spend around $1,600 on local produce and stuff at the local markets. And we also kind of got the pricing from other local businesses on Guam that are thriving in terms of, oh, I can buy this because it's affordable, not like overly expensive as what is compared to for the markets here in Hawaii.
I had a couple questions. The first one's just technical. What's your gross margin? When you price your item, $75 for a video, whatever for a tote bag, what kind of margin are you making in there?
Margin.
Do you know that? Is it not on the slide?
Is it on the slide?
Does it go to the extra side?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh. Here it is.
Do we have it?
Oh. We have the margin.
Go to the next one.
Do we have it?
I don't know.
Maybe while that's being looked up, I was hoping that you talked about the marketing and different things you'll do, but could you go into more detail? You have all this product, how are you going to get it sold? Maybe your guerrilla social media skills or elaborate on that.
Okay, so as I said earlier, I'll be leveraging my networks through my D1 Beach Volleyball, as I'll be coaching a lot of what the target audience is, and so I'll be pitching that to them as well on the side. And also with our marketing, we'll be using Instagram and TikTok, which I think are platforms that our audience uses more often than most.
Maybe you could talk about how we price that into long prices.
You got it.
Okay.
You got it.
So we price our tote bags and merchandise at the prices that they are here because as she's mentioned, she has spoken to other companies on Guam, and that is around how much they sell their merchandise for. And you may notice that it is cheaper than what you may find here, and it is because people in Hawaii are willing to pay more for these things, and these are allocated to Guam prices.
Did you guys talk to the people that make the stuff? I mean, you could have called the t-shirt printer, how much it cost to make 100 shirts.
Oh, 300 shirts.
But that's in the next
Just
6
like
months.
tell them like the ones that usually cost here.
The ones that cost here?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Never mind. Never mind. Sorry, what was your question again?
Did you, in coming up with the cost, so the cost was figured out through talking to the people who sell the things, not necessarily the people who make the things that you...
Yes.
Pacific Carbon, and they were coached by Jake McHenry from OceanEd.
Okay.
So welcome to the stage, Pacific Carbon.
Aloha, mai kakao. Hello, everyone. I'm Panza. These are my colleagues Shanna and Tate, and we are Pacific Carbon. Here in Hawaii, we're not just imagining the future of climate change, we are living it. These are images from around the islands of various ecological disasters. Already, these disasters have cost us immensely in human lives and environmental damages. Globally, climate change is set to cost us $38 trillion in the next 25 years. And that's not including damage to ecosystems and priceless human lives. So how do we avoid a future that looks like this? We need to incentivize the reduction of carbon emissions that are causing global climate change. We have to make it clear that climate action is not only necessary, but actually profitable. The carbon market exists to do this in one of two ways. The first is the compliance or cap and trade market, where governments set the legal limits on emissions. The second is the voluntary market, where companies set their own climate targets. And the second type of market is driven by social pressure and business strategy, and it heavily features something known as a nature-based offset. These come from project developers' activities in conservation and restoration of ecosystems that naturally sequester carbon, like forests. They measure the carbon benefit over several years, and for every metric ton of carbon dioxide removed from the atmosphere, 1 carbon credit is produced. Companies can then buy these credits to fund the restoration and further their own climate goals, which sounds like a win-win situation. But these types of markets are plagued by issues such as a lack of credibility. Carbon credits are sold in advance, which means there could be greenwashing accusations if the projects are not carried out. In addition, it fails to account for any sort of co-benefit to restoration, such as the benefits to communities. So what we're left with is not enough tangible, varied, and credible ways for businesses to invest in climate offsets. That's why Pacific Carbon is the premier blue carbon credit project developer and marketplace for Pacific communities. Why blue carbon? Well, Hawaii's cultural heritage means that we understand the ocean's value. What you may not know, though, is that coastal ecosystems, blue carbon ecosystems, such as marshes, seaweeds, seagrasses, and wetlands, can be up to 10 times more efficient at storing carbon than terrestrial ecosystems. And those are just the ones we know about. We have many more types of blue carbon ecosystems here in Hawaii that have been understudied. So what we're looking at is an opportunity to engineer a new market for blue carbon that is scientifically credible, that enables more nature-based solutions worldwide, and that empowers communities. Here's how we're going to do it. First, we partner with restoration communities. For example, Malama Maunalua is doing a sea grass restoration project in Maunalua Bay. We'll do all of the work to turn that into a carbon crediting project, like sediment coring analysis. We get our credits certified by trusted third parties such as Vera. This is where it becomes the actual carbon credit financial product. And then we can sell our premium credits at $100 each to Hawaii's major carbon emitting companies, such as Hawaiian Electric, Hawaiian Airlines, shipping companies, and hospitality brands. We take a 20% commission, and the rest of the money goes back to the communities. 20% is below the industry standard to better enable restoration here in Hawaii. With this strategy, we can bring the most carbon market value to Hawaii. Oops.
So what does that value look like? Today, the global carbon credit market is worth around $1 trillion. And this will triple to $3 trillion over the next decade. Yet this is primarily the cap and trade market that we explained earlier. We're strategically starting within the voluntary market, which will reach $35 billion within the next 5 years. The Asia-Pacific region alone will represent $7 billion of this total. But here's the key. Blue carbon is still a new player in this emerging space. Because of that, current projections don't fully capture its potential. There's an information gap that makes it difficult to see just how valuable this segment will become. Next, we have our competitive landscape. So, as you can see from this chart, the vast majority of our competitors are focused on land-based forestry projects. But on the blue side, there is quite literally an ocean of opportunity. Our two largest competitors are Conservation International and the Nature Conservancy. However, these companies operate on such a massive scale that community impact is neglected. Pacific Carbon is unlocking this market for communities not just in Hawaii, but across the Pacific. Our neighbors in Japan, Indonesia, Thailand, Vietnam, and even Guam, they all have restoration projects that lack market access. That's where Pacific Carbon comes in. To ensure that we're building a solution that truly meets market demand, we've begun validating our concept with major local stakeholders. Two of our larger potential corporate customers are Hawaiian Airlines and HEI. And both of these companies have net zero commitments within the next 25 years. If you look closely, you'll see that Hawaiian Airlines even includes carbon offsets as a part of their long-term sustainability strategy. Additionally, both companies are strongly committed to community outreach. This is reflected in their ongoing charitable donations and volunteer initiatives. We've been in discussion with key decision makers as well, including the Director of Strategy and Sustainability at HEI and the President of PAR Hawaii. They both expressed great interest in general carbon offset solutions, but cited these same two main barriers. The first was a lack of credibility in existing carbon offset markets, and the second was failure to demonstrate how their investment would make a tangible difference, especially here in Hawaii. And when they said this to me, that was music to my ears, because that's exactly the gap Pacific Carbon is here to fill.
We are committed to bringing these environmental and social benefits to Hawaii and communities across the Pacific. We're a dynamic team of 3, starting with myself. I'm Shanna Merrifield, and my experience is in environmental and energy policy, having worked for the International Energy Agency and State of Hawaii. As the CEO, I lead the strategy, partnerships, and project management. Next, we have our CTO, Panza Cecchini, who has a bioengineering student with a decade of lab experience with DULab, as well as the Hawaii Institute of Marine Biology. She's in charge of carbon measurement, certification, and verification, as well as developing novel methodologies. Last but not least, we have Tate Goodman, our COO, who's a mechanical engineering and business administration student at UH Manoa. With startup experience, he manages our operations, our finance, as well as marketing. To help bring our vision to life, we're asking for $25,000 in funding to support our pilot seagrass restoration project in partnership with Malama Manalua. The primary, which will help establish and build out a carbon credit portfolio here in Hawaii. The use of funds will be allocated towards methodology development, carbon credit verification, as well as test site implementation, with the majority of the cost covering the sampling equipment, as well as the credit registration fees for third-party certification. Our 4 revenue streams will support our projected growth over the next 5 years, with our target to reach 10,000 carbon credit sales by the end of 2028. And we also intend to scale beyond Hawaii to the Pacific region at this time, with profitability reaching $500,000 in revenue. Guided by the spirit of Malama Aina to cherish and protect our land, we at Pacific Carbon are fighting to restore what we've lost. By empowering community-led restoration, we turn carbon credits into living ecosystems, building coastal resilience, and healing native habitats like this 400-year-old fish pond here in Hawaii. Thank you so much for your time today.
You put the mic up and then we'll share it.
Thank you. I'm curious about the financials here because having looked at several of these types of companies, it's very difficult to make money doing carbon credit trading, right? First of all, in the US, it is voluntary, and even if you have voluntary customers, they're pennies on the dollar kind of item, right? So you had some other items there as far as making money, and I'm just curious about, you know, if that were a pie chart, what would it look like, and how do you achieve, I guess, enough revenue to sustain operations? When do you become profitable? How do you become profitable?
Good.
Okay. So our, do you mind just going back to that slide actually?
Oh, yeah, I missed it. This one?
Great. So our primary source of revenue is from carbon credit sales. So based on what we talked about earlier, each carbon credit will be $100 with a 20% commission. And so for the first 3 years, when we're looking at 10,000 carbon credits, that will be, what's quick math, 100,000 in sales from the carbon credits. In terms of the verification and certification support fees, that will be a percentage based off of what the companies are charging in order to be able to register these sites. As far as a pie chart goes, it would be about 30% from the carbon credit sales, 50% from the verification and advisory services, and then 20% from the methodology licensing.
So along those lines, in talking to like your local customers, like Hawaiian Airlines, do you were you able to get from them an idea of what their budget is for carbon offset that they are purchasing, their annual budget for that?
Well, we're assuming that this is going to, we're not at that point in customer validation. We have done customer discovery interviews, but we're not at the point of actually selling them our product. So we're assuming that this is going to come from their charitable foundations and any money that they have set aside for sustainability goals, which is not public information, but this information here HEI has already put $4 million towards charitable activities, and so this is the pot that we believe that our sales are going to come from.
Going back to that $100 credit that you're selling, so like what does that equal to in terms of carbon sequestered?
One credit is 1 metric ton of carbon dioxide that has been removed from the atmosphere.
One metric ton.
1 metric ton.
For how much?
For $100, yes.
So that sounds like a lot. I haven't looked at too many of these kinds of deals, and so I'm trying to think through like that's a lot of mud. There's a lot of things you got to go and test.
So that is high for a carbon credit, but our advantage is that we are building up a local market for it, so that we're not just selling the environmental benefit, we're selling the community benefit, and then we're selling visible impact to their customers. And we are sure that our customers are going to want to pay more for our carbon credits because we're going to market them to that extent.
And then the competitors are mostly service-based types of competitors, or anybody wanting straight tech solutions?
I didn't catch that second part.
Yeah, are these mostly services types of providers, or like?
They're project developers, so a few of them are doing what we're doing. For example, Delta Blue does this with mangroves in Indonesia. But a lot of the time it's just they don't work with communities very closely. They'll just go to a land and they'll stop it from being destroyed, deforested, or they'll reforest it, figure out the carbon benefit of that. But as we know, that doesn't really do much for the communities that are around those projects.
I'm trying to understand the business model. So like, taking your Malama Wanalo, for example, what does to stop that organization from just calling the third-party tester directly and say, can you run a test and give me the results, and I'll go to Hawaiian Airlines and get the direct donation?
So the verification company does not do the measurement. They have like methodologies published, which are basically just a set of calculations. And so you have to still figure out how much carbon is being stored there. You go through their calculations to figure out how much net carbon is being stored there, so subtracting all of the leakage, and then they certify that amount. So this is a really tricky market to try and get into because there's so much that goes into it. So for most companies, it's not worthwhile to do this because the amount of carbon, the money that's going to come from the carbon benefit is not enough. But because we're also doing the market aspect, we can sell our credits higher, which makes it more valuable to these companies.
Just to add on top of that, it really comes down to the lack of resources and technical expertise. So just because a conservation group is able to actually do the restoration itself, it doesn't mean that they actually have the technical expertise to be able to have the carbon sequestration measurement, especially when we're talking about novel methodologies that have not yet been established. So what we're offering is that expertise to be contracted out to them. And so it's much cheaper to have that one-off cost and fee and have that process streamlined and have us do it than to actually bring in someone who you'd have to pay full-time, who is likely to not have this background at all, since it is a very nascent market to begin with.
And then if I understood it correctly, 80% of your revenue goes back to the charity. And I would assume the concept would be they could do further restoration because now they have capital versus just volunteer day on Saturday. Is that the idea?
Yeah, so essentially we have to figure out how to make their products into carbon crediting projects, which usually means expanding this project somehow. Because if they were going to do it already, it couldn't be a carbon crediting project. So we only take 20% commission of the sale. We're the marketplace for them, so we produce the credits and then we also sell them by finding the buyers who are most likely to pay for them.
So you can test and verify a metric ton of carbon offset for $20. Is that the business model? Sell it for 100, you keep 20, give the people who do the work in the field 80? Sorry, I don't understand anything about the business.
No, that's exactly right. It's just that when you produce one carbon offset, you usually produce a ton of them, so.
So how much, when they do something at, say, Wanalua, how much carbon might they be offsetting?
Well,
2 metric tons or 3 metric?
it's hard to say because our systems in Hawaii have not been studied like that. So can you go to blue carbon sequestration, please? Oh, sorry, next one. Okay, so this is showing how much more carbon that some classical examples of blue carbon systems store than terrestrial systems, land-based systems. So we have good reason to believe that it's going to be a significant amount of carbon, but nobody's done this work yet, so we have to be there to fill that information gap.
That 70% of registration fees, what is that a one-time thing? Or
Yeah, so that's per project that we get verified by the third party. So that's the third party's fees for verifying our carbon measurements.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're back. Thank you all for gathering and being so quiet and ready to go. Okay, so for those of you who have just joined us, my name is Sandra Fujiyama and I'm the Executive Director of PACE. So earlier in the program, we celebrated the 25th anniversary of the UH Venture Competition, but it turns out it's also PACE's 25th anniversary, and so we wanted to share a little something with you. But before we do, I wanted to give some history to where PACE has been. So PACE had very humble beginnings. So more than 25 years ago, we started out in a 200 square foot space. That is the actual space in the picture. And then, a year and a half ago, we moved into the 100,000 square foot building. So this is the Walter Dodge Junior Rise Center. It's a mixed-use building combining student housing, the upper floors, and PACE's 10,000 square foot innovation center in the dark gray portion. So we have co-working space, we have maker spaces, we have a recording studio, we have incubation space. So everything our students need to get their ideas off the ground. And not only that, so late last year, we were super lucky and honored to get 2 awards. One with local recognition and one with global recognition. So the Global Consortium of Entrepreneurship Centers is an organization that has more than 600 entrepreneurial centers as a part of it across the globe. And we got recognized as the Outstanding Student Engagement and Leadership Center of the Year. So PACE has truly become the one-stop shop for entrepreneurship and seeding the next generation of leaders, of new ventures, as well as entrepreneurs join existing ventures. So thank you for joining us on that journey. And now I'm going to share the video.
Well, PACE has been around for 25 years and it's been quite a success story. It was actually started 25 years ago by David McLean, who was Dean of what is now the Shadman College of Business. But it really took off when we started getting community support. And a large part of that community support is due to John Dean. So John Dean funded the Kapapa lecture series. And not only did he fund it, but he organized a lot of the speakers and the events. And this was a great way to get engagement from the community here in Hawaii. He was bringing in some of his Silicon Valley friends, and they were really inspirational in seeing what could be done here in Hawaii.
My vision when I founded the Kapapa lecture series, I think it was around the same time that PACE came together, I thought we could help stimulate what already existed here in entrepreneurship by bringing very successful entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley that had gone from startup to IPO, but also to bring venture capitalists here to speak, to open themselves up to Q&As with students, and for a period of time there, to actually look at business plans from some of the startups here. We actually ended up some of the venture firms investing in those companies.
I think the next big event with PACE, I'd like to take some credit for that because I convinced Susan Yamada to be executive director of PACE. And that is not an easy task. But Susan took PACE to the level it is today. And it's been a big success story. She started all kinds of programs. She had the vision for the Walter Dodds Jr. Rise Center. And remember, PACE started 25 years ago in a small room, 200 square feet, and now it occupies the 100,000 square feet Walter Dodds Jr. Rise Center.
Right now we're in Rise. It's pretty much a huge experiment for us. We had a lot of assumptions, like people starting up businesses have assumptions, and some of them were right, some of them were wrong. So we're in the midst of pivoting and trying new things to see what catches on with students. With all the change that's happening in the world around us, you have to be prepared for change or opportunity in change. So let's help students embrace the change, come up with different business ideas, or just ideas of how they can do things better, faster, cheaper, stronger. And so that's what we're trying to do right now, is really create an entrepreneurial mindset in students, because I feel very strongly that they really need those sorts of skills to be able to look at problems, come up with creative ways to solve them, work in collaborative environments, be able to communicate. I think those are all entrepreneurial skills that form a mindset. And I want every student graduating from UH to have that mindset to help us here in Hawaii, as well as to help the individual in their careers.
PACE has touched thousands of students this last year alone. It touched 800 students and a number of people in the community to help us with all our programs. So it's been a big success story, and really happy to celebrate the first 25 years of PACE.
Yeah, I think I've always been interested in entrepreneurship. I've always wanted to be creative and build a business. In the past, I've worked for companies, I've started nonprofits, I've been part of different organizations, and I've always been interested in the entrepreneurial journey and the idea that you can create something from scratch. And this is my first opportunity. I think being able to join a program and get that guidance, get that support was so helpful. I think without that, you get really lost, and without the support of a community, you're lonely. Being able to join a program, get the support of mentors and advisors and the coaches was so valuable, and being able to ask them questions in real time, get feedback, and understand what it's like to be an entrepreneur and a founder, and then of course persevere and hopefully build something that can scale and be something really special. Yeah, I think I just want to finally say thank you to all the supporters and those who are helping with this PACE program that gets so important, and they might not realize the impact they're having. To this day, we've been able to impact over 100,000 lives across the country, support disasters, help with individuals facing homelessness, and just the idea that we can support over 1,000 community health workers, like that's something that came out of PACE. And so that impact is not just happening on the ground in Hawaii and on this campus, but across the country, and I think that's so special. So thank you for everyone.
Rise has helped me academically, professionally, and personally. Because I'm in this space, I get to run into other students, especially from different majors. And once I became a PACE leader, I learned a lot of different skills about communication, working with professionals, and being a leader of a team. So that really helped me professionally, academically, and personally, because it allowed me to be a lot more confident in myself and in what I do, and that really prepared me for the real world after graduation, as well as my career.
What inspired me to make the donation was the project itself. I'm a businessman, retired businessman, and when I saw what they were trying to do, create entrepreneurship, and that the project was on time, on budget, and no taxpayer funds. It appealed to me in every way. I couldn't wait to support it. What inspires me most about PACE is the fact that the university is sort of the economic engine for Hawaii. If they do a good job training future people, our economy will continue to grow. I hope that this is just the start, PACE and entrepreneurs and bringing them from all over. You know, that just changes the dynamic. So I'm really excited about what this will do for future entrepreneurs.
We're very proud of the past 25 years of PACE, and we're looking forward to the next 25 years of PACE's journey. Not only do we expect to educate many more students on entrepreneurial thinking, not only at UH Manoa, but the entire 10-campus UH system, but we also hope to spur startups and help diversify the economy here in Hawaii.
To everyone who has been a part of this journey, your support has been the catalyst for countless innovations and many bright futures. To the mentors, sponsors, partners, faculty, and alumni who have supported us along the way, you have made a lasting impact on the lives of entrepreneurs and the future of business. Here's to continuing this legacy together.
As PACE comes on its 25 years, same age as me, by the way, this is special, and I want to congratulate PACE because they're filling a niche in our community that's becoming more than a niche, becoming an important part of the future economic growth of Hawaii. Congratulations, PACE, for your 25 years.
Hey, I know it was said in the video, but I can't, I need to stress this. I need to really stress the mahalo to everybody here and everybody who made it happen. So for us at PACE, a huge mahalo to Dean of the Charter College of Business, naturally. And our amazing board of directors, including Susan Yamada, our chair, and AJ Halagawa, our vice chair. We have Alan Ueda here as well. I'm sure I'm forgetting others, so I apologize, but we couldn't do it without their leadership, right? The leadership of Dean Rowley supporting us in what we do, the leadership of Susan, and everyone on the board, they supported, they all donated as well, and they helped incredibly so much in order to make this happen and for PACE to come this far over the last 25 years. So thank you. Then the next group of people I want to thank is my amazing colleagues at PACE. They are the behind the scenes team, right? Like you don't see them, but they're the ones doing all the work and really bringing the program to life. And people are coming up to me saying, this is an amazing event, we love it, oh my gosh, you're doing such a great job. I'm like, it's not me, it's them. The people that you don't see behind the scenes. So there's Kara and Mark, and then, I don't know where Tracy and Crystal and Addie are, but they all do amazing work. They work incredibly hard and do such a wonderful job, and they make the magic happen. And I can't forget as well, we have a bunch of PACE leaders here who are volunteering their time as well as our student assistants. So all of them make it work. We all have to come together as a team to make it work, so thank you, PACE team. And of course, right, it takes a village, so I'm not done yet. So we have my leadership, my team, and then of course all of the donors. We couldn't offer our 20+ programs and the space at Rise for free to every single student in the UH system without all of our donors. So for them who are part of the $3 million campaign to open up our co-working space at Shiler called Space, they made it happen, right? When we fundraised for Rise, we had a goal of $3 million initially, but we steadily increased it year after year up to $5 million. Susan led that effort. We brought in $5 million before Rise opened, but that was not the end, because Walter Dodds Jr. came in and he matched that 5 with another 5. So thank you, Walter, for giving us the runway to be able to do this. And I cannot forget the community. So everybody here in this room, you are our community, We can't do this without the hundreds of volunteers and industry partners that collaborate with us, that care about our students, and put their time and effort to help us with our mission of really driving that student success and creating innovative problem solvers out of every student that comes through our doors. So everyone in this room, thank you so much for being a part of what we do. Okay, I'm done. Okay, now back to the competition. So I'm going to ask Dean Rowley to come up and join me because he's co-hosting the event with me. So would you all please welcome Dean Rowley to the stage.
Aloha. Sandra's already thanked everybody, so there's nobody else for me to thank, but I appreciate you all being here. You know, I was at the back of the room here this evening, and I was just reflecting on my past 20 years, 4 months, and 9 days as Dean of the Shadman College of Business. And, you know, this was not how our business plan competitions, as we called them then, or new venture competitions, as we call them now, were like 20 years ago. And the big jump, the big shift in all this is due to Susan Yamada. So Susan, let's give her another round of applause. And also, I don't think anybody has thanked Sandra enough this evening. She has also, everybody has incredible confidence in her. She's done a great job. And she's done such a great job, I've asked her to make three presentations this last 2 weeks to different groups. In Tokyo, in Hong Kong, our board of directors meeting today, and I forget what the other one was, but you did that as well. And thank you so much for all you're doing for PACE, and you're going to continue that continuous improvement that we've had the last 25 years. So thanks, Sandra. So this event, I'm really pleased we had students from 2 campuses. We had over 20 disciplines represented, as our engineering representatives here noted to me tonight. A disproportionate number were from the College of Engineering, which is great. We love our College of Engineering and hope they continue to be involved with PACE. But this has been an incredible exhibition of just cross-campus collaboration and entrepreneurial energy. So wonderful that we get all that participation, and through a new certificate program and micro-credentials, we hope to even expand that reach further in the future, the near future. So again, we need to thank all of the people who made this possible, our many partners, our sponsors, our coaches, judges, instructors, and they continue to champion our students in these programs year after year. So one of our many supporters who make this possible is our title sponsors for this year's competition. That's American Savings Bank. And let's give them a round of applause. And their continued support really extends well beyond this event this evening. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce American Savings Bank President and CEO, Ann Teranishi. Ann.
Aloha. It's so great to be here. Thank you all for being here and being in support of this program. The UH Venture competition is something that is near and dear to ASB. I think my predecessor, Rich Wacker, was a huge supporter of PACE and the RISE program, and we're happy to continue that legacy and that important vision that he had for us. This year is a really milestone year, 25 years of the competition itself, 25 years of PACE, which, by the way, Susan hosted a Women in Leadership series for us for a nonprofit I am involved with in that 200 square foot facility, which was awesome back then, even as a small space. It's also a milestone year for American Savings Bank. We have 100 years of serving this community, and we're committed now more than ever to making sure that we do all we can to support a diverse and healthy economy. So I know, thank you. Afternoon and evening, and I stand between you and the results that all of the participants and finalists and judges and mentors and professors and supporters and partners have been a big part of. So please let me make sure that I especially thank the judges. I judged this competition 2 years ago. It is tough and rough, so without a doubt, when they say it was a hard decision, I know it was. Congratulations to all the finalists, all the participants, and thank you for dreaming big, being bold, taking risks. Please keep doing that. We're going to need more of that in these uncertain times. And I hope you feel in this room just the high level of support that you have. Reach out, ask for help. You have friends in this room that want you to succeed. So congratulations and best wishes on your journey. Now turn it back to the Executive Director of PACE, Sandra Fujiyama, and my friend and high school classmate.
Thank you, Anne. We appreciate you and American Savings Bank for the continued support of the next generation of entrepreneurs in Hawaii, not only through this program, but also for all that you and your team do for PACE and the entire local ecosystem. So thank you for that. I also want to give a big mahalo to the ASB team. So Tony came out to judge, as well as there is Carwin Siu, Joanne Diggs, and Jordan Odo. They've come out year after year to support this competition. And then we want to give a special shout out to Kyle Shelley and Daniel Nana, who come out, sorry, that was a tough one for me. So who come out and do a boot camp for us every year that's special and targeted for our students. So big mahalo to the entire ASB team for coming out to support us here in Iraq. Thank you, ASB. So we also want to give a shout out to our sponsors. So as you heard, ASB is our title sponsor. Our second prize winner sponsor, cash prize, is Sharon Weiner. She is a longtime PACE board member, so she's supporting the $10,000 second place prize. For our third place prize, which is $5,000, that's supported by High Beam, and hopefully we have Leah Hong somewhere in the audience that's going to help us present that award. And then our in-kind prize sponsors are Greg Kim from Vantage Council, Travis Ito, who happens to also be a alum of PACE with Blue Logic Labs, Nam Wu, who's just right here from Hub Co-working, gives a year worth of co-working space to each of the teams. And then Pia Arma gives her marketing services, and she's from Penn Appleton. And next, I just want to thank all of the volunteers, again, for this competition in particular. More than 50 volunteers come out to make this happen. So there's a slide, sorry. So there's a long list of folks who came in and were a part of what we do. So the coaches, the judges, their instructors, they give untold hours in order to guide the teams and really help polish their presentations. So all of their names are listed here. Thank you, all of you, for being a part of what we do here at PACE and supporting the students on this journey through the competition. So round of applause for them. Okay, I have one more thing to do before we get to the winners. We have the Student Entrepreneur of the Year Award that we give out every year on behalf of PACE. So each year we select one student who has made exceptional contributions to the entrepreneurial activities at the university and in our community, and we recognize the individual as the PACE Entrepreneurship Student of the Year. So for this student, we first met her in the fall of 2023 when the Walter Dodge Junior Rise Center opened up. She served as a PACE leader on our Call Grants team, helping to develop, shape, and launch that new program for PACE. This year, she served as a PACE leader on the Maker team, helping to develop and launch our makerspaces and turn that program into one of the most popular PACE programs. Her drive to to be an innovative leader and problem solver did not stop there. She also participated in many of our programs, including our Innovate 808 program, where she won the competition with her team, solving a real-world challenge for the Hawaiian Chip Company. She also competed in our Hollow Grants competition, winning awards through that competition as well, and our UH Venture competition. She was also part of a team that worked on a real-world challenge for one of our Family Business Center members, Servco, and she volunteered her time to join a team that worked on a project for a local small business in Hilo. So she did all of this in the last year. So so not only that, okay, I'm not even done, she also made time to build and expand our community at Pace and Rise, doing classroom presentations to spread the word, volunteering at numerous events to support Pace with high school tours and visits, and while pursuing her degree in computer science, she also facilitated connections and partnerships with the computer science department, including facilitating a collaboration on an entrepreneurship live event with Switch, a program that is supporting women in technology computing Hawaii. So this student works very well in teams, as you can tell, and gives consideration to everyone's ideas while contributing her own unique talent and skills. She exudes positivity and a genuine desire to help her peers. So this year, the award goes to Roma Amor Malasarte. Okay, now we're gonna announce the awards, yay! So first of all, congratulations to all 4 finalist teams. You all did a wonderful job with your presentations, and we are so proud and amazed at how much you all achieved over the course of a semester. So congratulations to all of you. Big round of applause for the team. Okay, so we're gonna start with the 4th place prize winner. That 4th place prize winner will also get an award. They will get a cash prize from PACE to encourage them to keep pursuing their ventures. So, the 4th place prize award goes to Pacific Carbon and their coach, Jake Henry. So please come up to the stage. Is Leah Hong here? No? Okay, so Leah's not here, but she was the representative for the 3rd place prize award, which is sponsored by High Beam in honor of pioneer Billy Richardson. So Dean Rowley, you're gonna do this one with me again. So in third place, with a $5,000 cash award in honor of pioneer Billy Richardson by Hy-Vee, along with thousands more in professional services, goes to Grow Guam and their coach, Kelly Holden. Okay, Kelly, we want you to come up too. Okay, so Dean Worley's going to help me again with the second place winner. Sharon Weiner could not be here with us today. So for the second place and $10,000 cash prize plus thousands more in professional services, that goes to WellNETS and their coach, Christopher Daniel.
Congratulations.
So that leaves one team, right? So the first place winner, and I want to call Ann Taranishi to come up, the president and CEO of American Savings Bank. In first place, the $25,000 ASB cash prize plus thousands more in professional services goes to BlueMed. And the coach is Okay, thank you, Ann and ASB, and congratulations again to all of the competitors. You did a tremendous job here this evening, and we're so proud of each of you. And this concludes our program, everyone. So thank you for joining.